Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? A couple of people have suggested me a very good idea, suggested a very good idea to me, which is to do a sort of review of World Cups past, and one of the ones I romanticize the most about is 1998, the World Cup in France, because it was the first one I really got into. The first one I ever watched would be Italian 90. Watched a bit of 94, but obviously Wales weren't qualifying for these ones, and England didn't qualify for 94 either, so I remember watching Ireland. But remember in the 1998 World Cup, I have a confession everyone, I was supporting England. Shock horror. And yeah, so I remember watching this tournament and basically sort of really getting into football and World Cups and all those sorts of things from this tournament. I think it's still one of the best. Kind of a controversial final, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's take a look in this ASMR football video at the 1998 World Cup, FIFA World Cup in France. The video game I've spoken about briefly before. I was obsessed with it, absolutely obsessed. Okay, that was the official logo. I remember it very well because it used to be at the start of that game that I used to play on the PC. Coupe du Monde, France, can I say 98 in French? 98. And then it was in France between June and July of 1998. Glorious summer here in the UK and in France as well. 32 teams from 5 confederations, venue 10, champions. We will see that France won it against Brazil in the final. Croatia in their debut came third and was sensational throughout the tournament, and a very unlucky Netherlands finished 4th. The attendance was over 2 million. Davor Schuker scored 6 goals and was the top player. The best player was Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo of course. Best young player Michael Owen, particularly for the goal against Argentina. Best goalkeeper Fabien Barthez, and the Fair Play Award joint to England and France. Okay, so it talks a little bit, this is a Wikipedia article obviously, it talks a little bit about the sort of qualification and the awarding and everything. These were the teams that qualified. So from Asia we had Iran, Japan, Saudi Arabia and South Korea. From Africa, Cameroon, Morocco, Nigeria and South Africa and Tunisia. South Africa's first ever tournament, Japan's first ever tournament as well, which kind of shocks me. I'm trying to decide whether the numbers in brackets are their seed, and if so, Japan were 12th in the world. Wow. United States were 11th, Mexico was 4th, England were 5th. Brazil were first, and they were the holders of the competition from the previous edition. In the United States, Germany was 2nd seed, Spain 15th. Norway 7, really? I'm not sure if that's the case. I wonder what the little... With final pre-tournament rankings qualified for the final tournament. Apparently so. Okay, so, yeah, where were we? From America we had the CONCACAF, North America, Jamaica, Mexico and United States. From South America, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia and Paraguay. And then UEFA, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria got through. Croatia in their debut, Denmark, England, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Romania, Scotland, Spain, and at the time Yugoslavia, minus of course Croatia. Yeah, So teams listed by ranking as of May 1998. Mexico were third best team in the world. England 4th, Norway 6th. They must have had a hell of a qualification campaign. Morocco 12th, above Italy and Spain and France. Obviously France didn't only play friendlies for your 16th for Croatia. And Nigeria were the bottom seed. Well, that's hard to believe. Interesting, okay. So we had the following stadiums taking part. Saint-Denis in Paris, Marseille, the Stade Vélodrome, Stade de France obviously in Paris. Also in Paris is the Parc des Princes. In Lyon we had the Stade de Gerland. In Lens we had Stade Félix Bollaert. In Nantes we had Stade de la Beaujoire. In Toulouse we had Stadium de Toulouse. Saint-Étienne had the Stade Geoffroy Guichard. Bordeaux did the Parc Lescure. And Montpellier did the Stade de la Mosson. Some of these stadiums don't exist anymore. This was the first FIFA World Cup where fourth officials used electronic boards instead of cardboard. Oh yeah, so we had the golden goalness, which the golden goal, if you don't know, is the one where you get to extra time and the first team to score wins. It was meant to stop having like a boring half an hour of extra time, but actually made it worse because teams didn't want to attack just in case they conceded a dodgy goal, and then it was literally like, blow the whistle, it's over. It was very unpopular. Banning of tackles from behind that endanger the safety of an opponent, and the allowance of 3 substitutions per game. Prior to that, obviously it's weird to think about it now, we're 5 and some people are saying, oh, we might get 7 soon. Okay, and these are the match officials. We had Hugh Dallas and Paul Durkin from the UK, and I checked, and where is he? Pierluigi Collina, one of the best goalkeepers, referees ever, was the representative for Italy. Okay, so the draw took place, and seeded teams were Brazil and France as the winner and the host. And then because of their order, it was Germany, Italy, Spain, Argentina, Romania and the Netherlands in Pot A. But then why was Mexico in Pot D if it was like, if they were the third best team in the world at the time? That doesn't make sense. So Romania was seeded. Okay, whatever. And in Pot B you had Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Denmark, England, Scotland, Yugoslavia, Norway, all the UEFA teams. Pot C, oh I see, they've sort of split the pot into areas, not seeds as such. Chile, Colombia, Iran, Japan, Paraguay, Saudi Arabia, South Korea. And then Pot D, Cameroon, Jamaica, Mexico, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa, Tunisia, United States. The draw took place in the Vélodrome in Marseille. And these were the groups. So when I said the other day about Scotland getting Brazil's group, this of course was Scotland's last World Cup apart from the one they've just qualified for. So Brazil, Scotland, Morocco, Norway, which nowadays would be an absolute group of death because Morocco and Norway are just fantastic at the moment. So I hope Scotland don't get that draw again. Group B, Italy, Chile, Cameroon and Austria. Chile at the time were absolutely sensational for posterity. C is France, South Africa, Saudi Arabia and Denmark. So quite a weak group for the hosts. Group D turned out to be a doozy. We'll take a look at it in a second. Spain, Nigeria, Paraguay and Bulgaria. Group E was wonderful. I love this group. Netherlands, Belgium, South Korea and Mexico. So the fact that the two rivals got in the same group together was interesting. There was a very interesting goal by Patrick Kluivert in that match as well, if I remember. Group F, Germany, United States, Yugoslavia and Iran. So United States and Iran being drawn in the same group, which happened at the last World Cup as well in Qatar, but at the time there was even worse, if that's possible, diplomatic diplomatic situation between them. It's quite a surprising result in that one as well, you'll see. Group G was Romania, Colombia, England and Tunisia. So Romania was a seed, but England wasn't. Oh yeah, interesting. And then Group H, Argentina, Japan, Jamaica and new guys Croatia. Well, new guys Japan and new guys Jamaica as well. So I think Argentina were teaching everyone how to do it because they took all of the new countries. Okay, so let's go through the group stages. This was the final result. So Brazil had one loss. They had 6 points in total. Norway finished second above Morocco and Scotland finished bottom, but were close in all of their matches, particularly that one against Brazil where they only lost in the opening match of the tournament, opening night. Only lost 2-1. And in Group B we had Italy and Chile get through. Chile only got through with 3 draws, so Austria and Cameroon didn't get through with 2 points each. That group sort of cancelled itself out, apart from Italy, who were on fire. They had Christian Vieri scoring for fun, but Chile had Salas as well, so they both those teams had very, very good scorers. Salas again. Vieri scored another 2. I think Vieri was top scorer at the end. Another one for him at the end of the group stage. And Sierra, not Salas this time, Group C. France easily finished top, conceded 1 goal. Denmark followed them through. South Africa and Saudi Arabia didn't manage to make it through, including, what's the big results? France basically walked it. 3-0 against South Africa, Thierry Henry scoring. 4-0 against Saudi Arabia with another 2 for Henry. And then Jokev and Manu Petit. And then let's look at Group D. So yes, that's right. Spain didn't qualify from this group. Nigeria and Paraguay got through. Nigeria were absolutely fantastic. Their opening match against Spain was amazing. If you can see this on YouTube, go and look it up. I think it was Olise's goal, basically from outside the box, smashed into the top of the net, stunned Spain. And Paraguay at the time were sort of known for getting draws and really cancelling sides out, so Spain had to go into this match knowing that it was a must-win. They couldn't. And then in the final match, despite the fact that Spain dismantled Bulgaria, they were already out, because in that match Paraguay then went on to beat Nigeria. So both Paraguay and Nigeria put Spain out. Okay, Group E, Netherlands and Mexico got through. Belgium, another team that didn't lose but didn't go out. Didn't go through. So they had 3 draws in South Korea, were the whipping boys of that group, but they managed to get a point. Mexico got a win and 2 draws in that group. There were lots of goals in this particular group from Luis Hernandez, who was a sensational blonde, smiling Mexican player who was one of my favourite players of all time. So yeah, they beat Mexico, beat South Korea 3-1. I believe that Sokchu's goal was a beautiful free kick. Netherlands drew with Belgium in that match. I thought there was a goal. Oh, maybe it was in... Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was in qualifying or something then. I think they were in qualifying together as well. And there was an instant where they Kluivert rounded the goalkeeper and basically just stood on the line with the ball until people ran towards him and just like laughed at them before he would score. 77,000 people watched that 0-0. Then Belgium drew with Mexico. Cuauhtemoc Blanco, the guy who used to, before it was ruled as being an illegal move, used to get the ball and just jump with it in the air. Wilmot for Belgium, then Netherlands hammered South Korea 5-0. Some names you'll recognise: Koku, Overmars, Bergkamp, Van Hooijdonk and De Boer. And then the Netherlands were 2-0 up quite early on against Mexico, but Mexico managed to get the draw and went through. Another late goal from Luis Hernandez. And Belgium could only draw with South Korea in the end, so they went out. Group F, Germany finished top, Yugoslavia equalled their points and finished second. Iran finished third, and United States lost all of their matches, including, of course, the one to Iran, which, as I said, politically at the time was a little bit of a big match build-up to it. Müller and Klinsmann were the goals, so some really fantastic players. This was seen as a Germany team that was starting to wane, playing older players, needed to reinvest after the next Euros that happened, where they went out in the group stage and were a little bit embarrassed, to be honest, in certain matches. I remember, I feel like they only got a point. We'll look at it at some point in the future. I think I remember, was it Romania, like outplayed them completely. So yeah, this Germany team was sort of on its last legs, and then United States lost to Iran, like I said. Matavikia with the winner, Brian McBride. Yeah, so Group G, last but one, Romania finished top, England second, Colombia third, and Tunisia last with 1 point. Famous, of course, for England's performance. Sheeran's goals, two absolutely amazing players for England over the years. Ilya for Romania beating Colombia, Colombia then beating Tunisia, Romania beating England with a Dan Petrescu goal. I think he was playing for Chelsea at that time, I think, as well. Owen scored a goal for England. And then Beckham, who hadn't been played in the earlier matches, got a game against Colombia and scored an absolutely amazing free kick, which obviously he was very famous for at the time. Before Romania drew with Tunisia, Moldovan with the goal. And lastly, Group H. So Argentina finished top, didn't concede a single goal. Croatia finished second with 2 wins, and then Jamaica and Japan below them. Argentina beat Japan 1-0. Batistuta, I think you might have heard of him, with the only goal in that one. Croatia then beat Jamaica. Robbie Earl, I think is Robbie, and then Stanic, Prosinecki and Šuker for Croatia. Croatia then, with another Šuker goal, beat Japan. Argentina hammered Jamaica 5-0. 2 for Ortega and a hat-trick for Batistuta, Batigol. And then Argentina with Pineda beat Croatia 1-0 before Jamaica actually got their first World Cup win, 2 goals from Whitmore to beat Japan. So then we go to the knockout stage, and we can see that Brazil got Chile, and despite their very good strike force, they could only lose that match 4-1. Brazil just ran away with it. Nigeria knew that they would probably have Brazil in the next round, and I remember my dad saying to me that Nigeria took their eyes off the ball and were just thinking about the Brazil match, which would be like a dream match for them. But they underestimated the Danes, and the Danes punished them 4-1. I think JJ Okocha scored the only goal in that match. I wonder if I can find out. Is that going to go to Saint-Denis now? Maybe it'll tell me later. Oh yes, I see. Oh, okay, doesn't matter. Netherlands then beat Yugoslavia 2-1. Argentina beat 10 men England because Beckham got sent off for that foot tap on Diego Simeone. So they lost. Michael Owen also scored his wonder goal in that match, but Argentina won on penalties. It's always a juicy match when Argentina play England as well. Italy beat Norway just 1-0. Norway were very solid defensively. Then France could only just beat this, like I said, very astute defensive team, Paraguay. It was after extra time. It was the first ever golden goal. So France were all over them for the whole match, and eventually got the goal in extra time. And then Germany beat Mexico. Mexico have got this curse that they have never ever made it further than the fourth match. So there's like some sort of saying in sort of Mexico that, el quinto partido, like the fifth game, they just can't get to it. No matter how small or big the World Cup is, they always seem to get out of the group. They didn't get out of the group the first time ever in the last World Cup. Hopefully they get out of the group in their own World Cup next year. But yeah, basically they were winning with another goal from Luis Hernandez, and this aging Germany team were up against it but managed to get 2 goals, one of which was really late on. And then Romania narrowly lost out to this emerging team of Croatia. Let's just check my facts. So Italy beating Norway with another Christian Vieri goal. Brazil hammering Chile, Sampaio with 2 goals and Ronaldo with 2 goals. Salas and another goal for Chile. One of the best players in the tournament, to be honest. Laurent Blanc was the player that scored the extra time goal, the golden goal. Denmark beating Nigeria, Babangida, sorry, not JJ Okocha, who scored the only goal, but Müller, Brian Laudrup, Sand and Helve with the goals for Denmark. Yes, it was an 86th minute goal, so a double whammy. Hernandez scored just after half time. Mexico went through the entire tournament never scoring a first half goal. They scored all their goals in the second half. Klinsmann and Bierhoff with the winners there to make the prophecy of Mexico come true. Netherlands with Bergkamp and Edgar Davids. 92nd minute winner Komljenovic was the player that scored for Yugoslavia. And Romania lost to another Davor Šuker goal, penalty this time from Croatia. Argentina beating England, Batistuta and Zanetti with the goals, Shearer and Owen. And then we had Italy. Oh, okay, so these are the quarterfinals. So obviously this Italy team that was doing so brilliantly was up against the home team, and it was a 0-0, they cancelled each other out. And it went down to penalties, and France won it 4-3. Zidane scored, Trezeguet, Henry and Blanc. Unbelievably, Roberto Di Biagio was the guy who missed the goal, so an amazing player. Next one, Brazil just beating Denmark, this plucky Denmark team. Brian Laudrup and Johansson with the goals, cancelled out by Bebeto and 2 from Rivaldo of Barcelona. And then the Netherlands beat Argentina, so Kluivert, then Lopez and Bergkamp on the 90th minute with an absolutely sensational goal. Another one of the best in the entire tournament. So that was that for them. And talking about this old Germany team that got run off the park by Croatia, Jarni, Vlahovic and another one from Davor Šuker, who then eventually got bought by Real Madrid. First performance in this competition, if he wasn't there already, I can't remember. Yeah, they did what basically Mexico should have done, but were too sort of scared. And then we got to the semi-finals, and the Dutch were so unlucky. They just, they're up against a very confident Brazil team. Ronaldo with another goal, Kluivert with a goal on the 87th minute to save them. But on penalties they were not good enough, and Cocu and Ronald de Boer both missed. The brothers playing Frank and Ronald de Boer. So then Netherlands went out. And then the other one, a sensational match. So Croatia against the host in the semi-final, their first ever competition, similar to like the way that Wales did in Euro 2016. Got to the semi-final. Davor Šuker on the 46th minute, starting the second half, put them ahead. You're thinking, oh my goodness, are they gonna like get to the World Cup final, putting out the hosts in their first ever attempt? And then Thuram, who was a defender for Juventus, ran down the pitch because he played Davoshuke onside for the goal. Ran down the pitch and stuck it in the back of the net. And his celebration is sort of, I can see it now, he sort of just went down on his knees and just put his hand on his chin and did a sort of looking around, very calmly look. And then he scored again. Basically, I don't know if he'd ever scored for France before this match. And I swear I've seen a piece asking him about this match, and he said he can't remember the match. Like, he literally was like, I think I was possessed, I don't know what happened, and I can't remember it. So it's really fascinating if you want to look it up. In the third place playoff, the Dutch played a much weaker team. Zenden scored their only goal, and Croatia played their strongest team to try and get as high as possible, and another goal from Šuker, whereas Prosinečki. And in the final, well, I could talk about this for hours. I watched loads of videos. Okay, so I'll read this to you and you can make up your own mind. So it said in the pre-match build-up, the pre-match was dominated by the omission of Brazilian star Ronaldo from the starting lineup, only to be reinstated 45 minutes before kickoff. So you give your team sheet in about an hour beforehand. Sometimes in international competitions, an hour and 10 minutes, going a quarter. Everyone was like, oh my god, why aren't they playing Ronaldo? Then they reissued and said, oh no, it was a mistake, he is on there, which was weird. That never happens. So it then goes on to say that because there was something weird going on, I'll go into it in a second, but Brazil just went themselves. Zidane and the rest of the team just walked all over them. And Zidane was the first player to score 2 goals in a World Cup final. And then Petit just basically ran the entire length of the pitch and stuck it in on the 93rd minute when Brazil were trying to attack. The conspiracy theories are that Brazil... So it is understood because he shared a room with Roberto Carlos of Real Madrid, and Roberto Carlos said that in the middle of the night he woke up and he was having Ronaldo was having a seizure, and he called on the team doctor and they gave him a shot and calmed him down, and everyone was a bit freaked out because they were like, oh my god, our star striker the night before the World Cup has had this seizure, which is a scary... if you've never seen someone have a seizure, it is really scary. So obviously they got no sleep, really worried. And the next day they were like, oh, we're not going to play Ronaldo. This is where the conspiracy theory bit starts. So the conspiracy is that whoever's the sponsor of the team, let's call him Nike, I can't remember if it's Adidas or Nike, they saw that he wasn't playing and they were like, no, he has to play, he's our star player, he has to play. And so they basically got forced into it. There are less dramatic ones. Some people say it was just a mix-up. Some people say that he wasn't feeling right and then he was like, look, I can play, put me on. So less conspiracy theory ones. But yeah, the most conspiracy theory one was that the sponsors of Brazil were like, no, if you want the money, then you're going to have to play him for marketability reasons, because he was an absolute superstar at the time. And then basically you can see him, he looks, when they come out, they're all holding hands, the Brazilian players, and Ronaldo's head is sort of down and he looks out of it. He looks like a person who's had no sleep and had a seizure the night before. He looks like he's on drugs. He looks really odd. And the whole Brazilian team just didn't click that day. They just weren't up for it at all. Yeah, it was a really, really weird final. So, as good as the tournament was, the final was a bit weird, to be honest, for lots of unknown reasons. Yeah, and there we are. So, top scorer Davoshuke, Gabi Batistuta and Christian Vieri with 5, Ronaldo, Salas and Luis Hernandez with 4, and then the rest. And that was the World Cup in 1998. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do give it a like if you did, and comment and tell me which one to do next. Shall I just do them in order? Shall I do a Euros next? Let me know what you think. And obviously subscribe if you haven't yet for lots more ASMR football content. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care and see you soon. Bye 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 bye.